Hi there, everybody. Welcome to week 1/week 2. Week 1 and 2, we'll call it. We do have a video from last week kind of introducing the materials. We'll go over kind of like an introduction review today of the basics of this Beatles tune. We were working on the tune Let It Be, one of my favorites from the Beatles, and continuing kind of our Beatles deep dive. We'll be doing probably one more month of Beatles songs in the standard track. Yeah, I'm not fully settled on next week yet. Next month yet. Okay, cool. So just for logistics stuff, we were meeting last week, 4th, 11th, 18th, and 25th. And then for the month of July, just to keep it kind of updated on your guys' calendar, it's a 5-week month, and we will be taking the week of July 4th off, which means that for the month of July, classes will be on the 9th, 16th, 23rd, and 30th. Make sense? Same thing for the... what am I saying? The solo class, which is on Wednesday, we'll be taking the 3rd off, so that first week of July, and then we'll be in 10, 17, 24, 31. So just some upcoming stuff in the calendar just to keep in mind. Cool. Maybe we just start at the beginning. You guys cool with that? We start at the beginning? All right, let's do it. Let's take a look at these handouts. Obviously, materials are live. That's not plugged in because that's just a blank screen. Go ahead and plug that in. Let's take a look at chords first. Boom, there's our chord progression. Super simple, not a ton of chords. Really, we only have like kind of 4 chords to think about, but if we're getting into the intermediate arrangement, then we will learn 2 extra chords for a little kind of chord movement or a little walkthrough. All right, let's go over these chords first. Let's play a C chord, 0, 0, 0, 3. Then we'll play a G chord, and we'll play an A minor chord, 2, 0, 0, 0. And then we'll play an F. Yeah.
Turn your original sound on.
Really great point. Thank you very much. Original sound on. There we go. 2, 3. Let's play a C chord. C. 0, 0, 0, 3. Let's play a G chord. 0, 2, 3, 2. Let's play an A minor chord. 2, 0, 0, 0. Then we'll play an F chord. 2, 0, 1, 0. And honestly, right there in the first 4 chords of the progression, we find all the chords that we need for this tune to play a nice, easy peasy kind of beginner version. So let's go ahead and look at those chords in a visual way. We'll go to the beginner handout. Remember, these are available in the live class module, kind of the live class course for this month. You can find all of these handouts in the resources page. Okay, there's our chords for the progression. Let's see if we can try whole notes moving through all those chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, show me G, show me A minor, here we go. 2, 3, show me F, 2, ready, C. 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, A minor, 2, and ready, switch to F, 2, and one more time through that progression. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, ready, and finish on F. Now I want you to take a look at the next line of the verse, and you'll see that really all we're doing is kind of taking some of these chords and reordering them, right? So we're playing a C and a G starting the same way, and then instead of A minor F, we're playing F and then C. So let's try that second line. 2, 3, and C. 2, 3, show me F, and then show me, G, and then show me F, and then show me C. Cool? So let's try and play all 8 of those chords in a row, and then we'll have our verse progression. 2, 3. When I find myself, G, in times of trouble, A minor, Mother F comes to me, and then show me C. Speaking words of G, wisdom, let it be, and then finish on C. I'm going to do one more rotation of that, and my suggestion for everybody would be this, is that since these chords aren't a huge challenge, everybody knows these 4 chords, right? Obviously, the next line is just those 4 chords reordered, A minor missing, right? I want you to start to integrate singing. You know, if you can kind of start to hear how that melodic movement kind of flows across this progression, right? Right now, what we're doing is we're sort of focusing on left hand, only playing harmony. if we can start to integrate melody on top of it, what you'll do is start to build the feeling of being able to sing those lines over that chord progression with kind of the most basic rhythm there is, which is just playing whole notes, right? Only playing on the chord changes. So just start mouthing the words. See if you can just maybe hum the melody. You don't need to know the lyrics for right now, but just starting to feel how that moves across, okay? Let's try again. 2, 3. When I find myself in times of trouble, A minor, Mother Mary, F comes to me. Second line, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And then C chord. Beautiful. Let's try it again. In my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Beautiful. On this rotation, even if you're not getting any of those lyrics or any of those chords, any of those melodies in the beginning, let it be should be something that we're starting to lock into, right? That's always the repeating kind of motif. That's the hook. So at least join me for that little line at the end, okay? 2, 3, one more time. Find myself, G, times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And then let's finish on C. Beautiful. So let's get into this chorus. One thing I want you to notice is that do you see some similarities between the chorus and the verse? Kind of see this ending phrase. And what if I like to think about this like this: if we have 2 progressions to memorize, if half of that progression is the same in both progressions, right? If the verse and the chorus share the last 4 chords, then it kind of eliminates some of the things that we need to memorize, right? We always think of that C, G, F, and C as our closing phrase, no matter what progression we're playing in the tune. So if you take a look here, I'll play through that chorus and you can listen. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. And if you hear the melody, it's actually the same as the verse. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Everybody hear it? So it's like the verse and the chorus, they both end the same way. So you can kind of think of that C, G, F, and C as the closing phrase for both progressions. Just eliminates some of the memorization, helps us to internalize these 2 progressions a little bit easier. Make sense? Okay, cool. I just want to point out the things in red, which are usually notating changes or alterations. Really, what you want to think about is this, is that when you play chorus 1, which is not listed, C1, right? We only play it once. So we play 1 time through, and then we're done, and then we go on to the next verse. But the second time around, when we play the chorus, then we're going to pay attention to these repeats. The third time around, when we play chorus 3, we're going to pay attention to those repeats. Does that make sense? I'm going to go ahead and scroll up to this, and you can kind of see it in the layout, right? We've got verse 1 here. We've got chorus 1. Check out how many lines chorus 1 is. 2 lines. And then we look at chorus 2, and guess what? It's 4 lines long, right? And that's where those repeats come into play. Same thing with chorus 3. Make sense? Okay, cool. So that's the only thing that you really need to pay attention to is that our chorus, the very first time around, we're going to ignore the repeat symbols. Let's try that chorus one more time. 1, 2, 3. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. And then we end the same way as the verse. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And let's finish on the C chord. Any questions regarding harmony, these first opening chords? Again, this is the 4 chords that you need to know how to play, which I'm assuming everybody has got these under their fingers to be able to play the tune, which means we can kind of immediately start to go into the next phase of memorizing progressions, which is locking in those orders, right? How I play the verse, how I play the chorus. Let's try and memorize that, both connected to our ear and to our hands. Make sense? I love your shirt, Monique. Beck. I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you kill me? Remember that? That was so good.
He has a lot of other albums that are very good.
Of course, but that's the one yeah, the Beatles had a lot of songs too, but Let It Be is one of their most famous ones, and that's why we're learning it. Yeah, I've actually never worked on a Beck tune. I don't think I've ever learned how to play it on ukulele, anything like that. That would be kind of fun. But yeah, Beck is amazing. Great artist. Lots and lots of great music. Okay, any questions regarding harmony, chords? Easy peasy, right? We got this. Okay, cool. What we want to try now is how to play rhythm. It's really just alternating between a down strum and a ghost note. That's all it is. And it's on quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really easy. One thing I want you to pay attention to is that this kind of strum, because I'm sort of mixing techniques, I'm not just doing downs and ups, I'm actually using my thumb to play the G string. I really try and keep my hand a little bit more centered. So when I say what I mean by centered is sort of like around the strings rather than sort of swinging your strum kind of reach past where the body goes. A lot of times when we strum like this, you see how my hands kind of come down and up and they're going way past the body. This can be helpful when we're playing slow rhythms to kind of keep us in time. Almost like a pendulum, right? It's swinging to kind of keep us at that slow tempo. For these strums, especially when we're doing what's called mixed technique, which means we're sort of finger picking and strumming, or finger picking and using our thumb to play the top string, then what we want to do is engage our finger a little bit more. See how it's not as much of a wrist twist, not as much of this elevator kind of action with my elbow. It's more of this motion. See how I kind of throw my finger out, right? So let's try alternating between down strums and ghost notes, just like this. So I'm doing a down strum and then I'm playing the G string a little lighter. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see the cycle of the rhythm is really quick, right? It's just 4 counts. 1, 2, 3. Then I'd switch to the next chord. Then I'd switch to the next chord. Then I'd switch to the next chord. All right, so I'm going to throw up that progression one more time, and let's see if we can give it a try. 1, 2, a 1, 2, a 1, 2, ready, C, and G, and A minor, and F, and C, and G, and F. Good. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let's go to the chorus. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Nice. And let's finish on 1. Beautiful team. Let's all unmute. Any questions? Utter silence. I don't know if it's just your lag telephoning in from Indonesia, Monique, but
Mexico.
it's Mexico. There we go. That's what I meant to say. It does kind of look like Indiana Jonesy to me, like a little bit like there's going to be monkeys.
No, I can totally see
Yeah,
that.
monkeys popping out and stuff. They're going to like eat somebody's skull. Okay, any questions, comments, concerns? Pretty straightforward, right? Oh, yeah, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Nothing. That movie scared me so much when I was a kid.
For
Every time
good
it was
reason.
scary.
For
Indiana Jones? Oh, the Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
I think they went like a little bit extreme. I don't know about that. The last one's pretty scary
Steven
too.
Spielberg made some really scary
Yeah.
movies for kids in the 80s. Like
Yeah.
E.T. is also genuinely terrifying.
Yeah. I really think too there was something about what was happening with special effects too, like Industrial Light and Magic, where they were just like, dude, we could do anything. And then they were like, okay, we need to figure out how to melt a guy's face. And then they just like learned how to do it. And then when they showed it on screen, everybody's like, well, we've never seen that before. That's traumatizing. You know what I mean? Like ghosts flying around. Like I'm pretty sure that's around the time like Poltergeist came out. You remember that movie? Oh man, Poltergeist. I was in it with my parents in the movie theater, and that preview came on. And like we had been like, oh, we're gonna go sit down in the front. My parents were like, I hate sitting in the front. Like you kids go run down there. So all three, me and my brother and my sister, we run down to the front. That preview comes on. boom, we come sprinting all the way back to the middle of the theater just because, like, I can't stomach this. It's so scary. It's just so insanely scary. But yeah, for good reason. That was a really scary movie. Okay, so any questions regarding rhythm, harmony? These are the basic building blocks, right? And I would say this is that who in this room couldn't get that down in a week? Who in this room would and technically you should probably be getting down quicker than a week because, you know, we kind of missed week 1. So we got a little catch up to do. But again, not an insanely complicated tune, right? More just starting to get those elements locked in, rhythm and harmony, and then trying to get our melodic lines kind of running over it. How many people have never heard this tune before? Good. I'm glad. We've all heard the song, right? We have all heard the Beatles, Let It Be. It's a good one. Okay, any questions, comments, concerns? We get into the intro next. And then we kind of got most of the building blocks that we need. Since it is week 2, I'm going to kind of move ahead. Like I said, this was sort of a review-ish kind of week 2, but obviously you can go back and check out week 1 recording, which is up and live now on the course module. Okay? Cool?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. Let's get into the next part. The next rhythm that we need to know for this tune is actually going to be a picking pattern. Now, this is a little bit of a modification. This is really just something to change rhythmic kind of ideas. It's not exactly sound. We got to get into the intermediate version for it to start to sound and feel a little more like the original. This is more just kind of how I wanted to show it, and then also a little bit of a teaching moment with a finger picking pattern. So this finger picking pattern is super simple. It's ascending from the lowest string on the ukulele to the highest string on the ukulele. So what I'm playing is C, E, G, and A. Just like that. C, E, G, A. Pay special attention to the fingers that I'm using. E and A are going to be assigned to the pointer and the middle finger. So you can kind of feel those 2 fingers right there. Yeah, pulling up. And remember, when I pull these strings, try to make sure that my thumb is not behind my fingers. Because a lot of times what happens when I do something like that is that my fingers get kind of tangled up. The thumb should be ahead. Your hand should be in a more kind of natural position. And then playing these 2 fingers, strings, the fingers kind of like come into the palm of the hand. Thumb is in charge of the C string and the G string as well. So you're going to use thumb, pointer, thumb on the top, and then middle on the bottom. Cool? C, E, G, and A. Another way to think about this is inside, the 2 inside strings, inside, and then outside, the G and the A strings. That's another way I think about it. Okay, so let's try this picking pattern together. 2, 3, 4, C, E, G, A. C, E, G, A. And C, E, G, A. And C, E, G, A. And thumb, pointer, thumb, middle, inside, outside. Lots of ways to think about this, yeah? So if we apply the verse progression with this rhythm, then we'll have kind of our basic beginner introductory intro for this tune, which is really just the verse progression played with this picking pattern. You guys ready? Here we go. 1, 2, ready, C. G, A minor, and F, and C, and G, and F, and back to C. Beautiful. 1 and F, and then we go C, and we go G, and we go A minor, and we go F, and we go C, and we go G, and F chord, and back to C. All right, let's return back to that picking pattern, C, E, G, A, okay? Nice and smooth. Remember, what we're trying to do is eliminate the amount of kind of management with our brain or with our head, with that part of our brain that thinks. We're trying to eliminate all of that and let it kind of fall into just our hands. What does it feel like and what does it sound like to move through this picking pattern, right? And remember, when we start to add the chords, what we want to do is try and keep this nice and consistent And if this is feeling too fast, always remember, try to go back to a slower tempo when practicing on your own through the week, okay? C, E, G, A. C, E, G, A. One more time, and let's try that progression. Here we go. Ready, C. Ready, G. Ready, A minor. Beautiful. Show me F. C. And G. And F. And C. There's our intro. Let's try one more time. Here we go. A minor. F. And C. And G. And F. Beautiful. And let's finish it on C. You guys might have heard that little interjection I did. I want to first talk about where this is placed. This is really the only alteration in that picking pattern. It's right here. Moving from the F chord to the C chord, what we're going to do is we're going to introduce just a little bit of melody. It's actually just going to be 2 notes. And since we're playing 4 notes inside of the picking pattern, it's really half of our picking pattern where we're going to substitute a couple of different notes to feel that little walking movement going from the F chord to the C chord, okay? So what I want everybody to try is play this with their thumb. Instead of playing C, E, G, A, what we're going to play is this. C, E, E, C. Cool? Just altering our picking pattern. C, E, E, C. C, E, E, C. So really you're just doing the inside, and then you're doing the opposite of what you just did. Make sense? C, E, E, C. Just like that. C, E, E, C. Now what I want you to do is hold an F chord and do that same thing. C, E, E, C. Do it again. C, E, E, C. Now what I want you to try is this. I want you to play C, E with the F chord. Now when you play the E string again, pick up the pointer finger. So you hear 0 on the E string. And then put the ring finger down on the 2nd fret of the C string, right? So we play open and 2nd fret C. Open E, 2nd fret C. Open E, 2nd fret C. And see how my ring finger kind of sticks itself? I pick up my pointer finger to play open, and then I put my ring finger down 2nd fret on the C string. Open E, 2nd fret C. Open E, 2nd fret C. Cool? So we start our picking pattern the same way. We hold an F chord and we play C, E, then we play open E, 2nd fret C, and then what I want you to do is go to a C chord, okay? So it sounds like this. F, we play C, E, and then pointer finger off, 2nd fret C string, and then try to go to the C chord. Make sense? All right, let's try it again. F chord, we play C, E. Now we play E, C, 0, 2, and then go to the C chord. Cool? Let's try that again. With the F chord, we play C, E, open, 2nd fret, and then to the C chord. Now, instead of rolling through the C chord, playing the chord itself, try to go back into the picking pattern, okay? So it sounds like this. F, 0, 2, then C, E, G, A on the C chord. Make sense? Really, really small interjection of melody, but I want you to notice that it takes us from kind of outlining the chord to hearing that little linear movement, right? It sounds like this. C, G, F, F. Now listen. C, G. You kind of hear that little bum, 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 yeah? And that's the reference that we make to that original, the little kind of chord stomp, the little chord pad moving down from the F chord down to the C, okay? All right, let's try it again. F chord. Remember, we play C, E, then 0, E, 2, C, okay? Ready? Go. C, E, 0, 2, and then picking pattern for the C chord. Let's try it again. F, here we go. C, E, 0, 2, C, E, G, A. One more time. 0, 2, and then to the picking pattern on the C chord. So remember, the progression for that last moment is C to G, F for the alteration, and then we finish with a C chord. Everybody know where I am? Right here, we've got C, G, F is where we make the alteration, and then back to the C chord. Make sense? So let's try playing those 4 chords right there. Remember, picking pattern for these 2 chords, picking pattern for the last chord, and F is where you're going to be making that little melodic interjection. Cool? Let's give it a try. 1, 2, 3, C chord. G chord. F, 0, 2, and then to the C chord. Let's try that whole thing again. Here we go. C chord. G chord. F chord. 0, 2, and the C chord. Beautiful. Last time. Here we go. C. G chord. And the F chord we make the melody, 0, 2, and then the C chord. All right, let's try that whole verse as an intro. You guys ready? 1, 2, 3, intro. C. We go to the G chord. A minor. F. And now, here we go. C and then G. And let's make our melody happen on the next measure. We placed 0, 2. Beautiful. All right, let's pick up the tempo just a touch. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. G. A minor. Moving to F. Beautiful. C. G. Here's where we make the alteration. C, E, 0, 2, and the C chord. Beautiful. And then right after that, we'll go into the rhythm. Find myself in time. Straight into the verse. Does that make sense to everybody? Cool. So the intro, it's challenging, but not so complicated, right? That's what I really want to pay attention to, is that even though we're introducing kind of mixed technique, moving from picking pattern to strumming and kind of picking at the same time, even though we're doing all of those things, the rhythm itself, when you actually look at it in the grid, it's really, really, really straightforward. That's the wrong thing. That's what I wanted, right? It's all just quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sense? Cool. So remember, the right hand's job is to move between these 2 picking patterns. These 2 rhythmic patterns. So make sure you're practicing that transition, right? You might be able to play the intro well. You might be able to play the verse chords with the rhythm kind of well. But then sometimes when you're thinking about mixing those 2 things together, it can feel like kind of a speed bump to get over. So make sure that you're practicing just the right hand, moving from C, E, G, E to down to this rhythm, right? C, E, G, A, and then moving to this other rhythm, right? Being able to switch between those 2 things is really the only job the right hand has to do throughout this tune. Make sense? Yeah. Go ahead, Monique. Talk to me.
The top line of the rhythm, that's just for the intro?
Just for the intro. Just for the intro. That's the only place.
Oh, okay.
That's the only place we're really using it. Make sense? Okay, cool. We got about 10 minutes left. I do want to kind of introduce the next section of the tune, especially because we're a little bit of a week behind. I'll be reviewing this in week 3, but I do want to give you a little bit of a jump start into the next section. Make sense? Do we have any questions about kind of the basic building blocks for the beginner arrangement of this? Yes, no, maybe so? All right. Remember, this is the beginner intermediate class. Our goal is to sort of be able to play the beginner arrangement really well, and then challenge ourselves with either the intermediate arrangement or elements, different little kind of moments of the intermediate arrangement. Does everybody get that format? Obviously, the class in the next hour is the intermediate as the base, be able to play that well, with the advanced arrangement as kind of our challenge or our push if we want to integrate certain elements of it. So I really want you guys to think about it. We're sort of a week behind. We want to have a functioning version of this tune, which means these 2 rhythms, those 2 chord progressions, and remember those 2 chord progressions end with the same 4 chords, right? So it's really not a ton to memorize. Trying to integrate those things into our right and left hand and being able to sing on top of it. That's really kind of our main goal by the end of the month. Any questions about that? Cool. So yes, picking pattern, top rhythm for the intro, and the rest of the tune will be using that second rhythm. Make sense? Okay, cool. Let's do this. Let's learn a little melody here. We're gonna play 1, 0, 2. Everybody play that. 1 on the E string, 0, 2, which we've actually done here. Right? We've played part of this melody already. This is the difference, is that when we play this 1, it's long, just like that. So it's 1, 0, 2, just like that. Cool. One more time, we play 1, 0, 2. Now, this is what I'm going to do, is I'm actually going to transcribe this melody into the second half, which is an octave higher. So instead of playing 1, 0, 2, I want to move to the A string, and we're going to move it up the fretboard. So what I'm playing there is 8, 7, and 5, all on the A string. 8, 7, and 5. Yeah. Instead of counting by ones, think about where your center is. So 5 is your first dot, Monique. So you can use that as your reference point to find 5. If I'm at 5 with my pointer finger, that means middle 6, ring is 7, and pinky is 8. So if you can play these 3 notes with your pinky, ring, and pointer, then it's like you can memorize that feeling or that spacing a lot quicker, a lot more intuitive. Cool? And for you, Marie, obviously you have a 3rd fret marker too, so make sure that you're kind of finding 5 with your 2nd fret marker. Make sense? Okay, cool. So we play these notes, 8, 7, 5, and I want you to really pay attention, especially with your ear here. Everybody hear how those are the same notes, just an octave apart. So now what I want you to know is that this little melody, this little kind of interlude section, this is really playing the same melodic phrase with the same kind of chord interjections. Only difference is that we jump up an octave for the second rotation of it. So I'm going to play kind of the whole little middle riff section of this tune. It sounds like this. Bum, 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 bum. Everybody recognize it? Bum, 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 bum. This happens right in the middle of the tune, and it's really just this little kind of bridgy section that just kind of takes you between the first half of the song into the second half of the song. Make sense? So when we do it the second time, we're going to do it exactly the same way. Only difference is instead of playing this melody, it's going to sound like this. Right? So that whole second half is identical for both rotations of this. The only differences are going to be those first 4 notes. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes? Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and learn the rest of it. So we're going to play the first melody. We're going to resolve to a C chord. Okay? So we play 1, 0, 2, C chord. One more time. 1, 0, 2, C chord. Okay, now what we're going to play is this. 1, 0 on the A string. Now what we're going to end is with a G half note, F, and then C. Cool? And that is the whole melodic phrase. Let's try it again. Let's play 1, 0, 2 to the C chord. Then 1, 0 on the A string. Then we play G. Then we play F. And then we play C. And you notice that G chord, the F chord, those are longer notes, right? You hold them for a half measure. Make sense? Let's see if we can give it a try again. Here we go. 1, 0, 2. C chord. 1, 0 on the A string. G chord, F chord, and then C chord. Beautiful. One more time. We play 1, 0, 2. End with the C chord. Then 1, 0 on the A string. Then a G chord. Then an F chord. And then a C chord. Beautiful, team. All right, now what I want to try is this. The only thing we're going to change is the first set of notes. All right, so since we played 8, 7, 5, we're still going to end on a C chord. Now we play 1, 0, and G, and F, and C. Cool? So that's the only difference between those two rotations. And remember, this happens in the song right in between chorus 2 and verse 3. All right? I'm going to go ahead and scroll up to where the sheet is. We've got verse 2, which is when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree. Then we get to chorus 2. And remember, in chorus 2 and chorus 3, we have a repeat of the chorus. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer. Let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom. Let it be. And then we'll play the riff. And then you repeat. Bum, 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 bum. Make sense? That is our riff section of the tune. Any questions, team? I would love to get a couple videos into Slack. This might feel like a little bit of a review, but I just want to throw it up there. That way you have those kind of quick reference points. Remember, get onto the course thing, download all the resources, have access to the sound slice there. I'm going to go Ukulab Live. I'm going to go beginner, intermediate, standard, and I'm going to hit record. All right, team, basic overview. What we have for the intro of this song, C, E, G, and A. Remember, try to use your thumb, your pointer, your thumb, and then your middle. Inside, outside. All right, so for our introduction, we're going to be playing this picking pattern with our verse progression. C, G, A minor, and F. And then C, and then G, and here on this F chord, which is the third chord in the second half of the progression, you're going to play C, E in an F chord, then you're going to play open E, second fret C string, and then back to the picking pattern for the last C chord. So it sounds like this. C, G, A minor, F, second half, C, G, and then we make our alteration in the F chord, C, E, 0, 2, and then back to the C chord. We'll stop this, we'll hit send, we'll record another. All right, for the main rhythm in this tune, what we're going to be doing is alternating between a down strum and a ghost note. Remember, this strum is a little less of the arm and the wrist and more of the fingers. See how I'm being a little more engaging with the fingers. I'm strumming down, I'm using the thumb. Now, two progressions for this tune. We've got C, G, A minor, and F for our verse. Now, our verse and our chorus both end with this last four chords, C, G, F, and then to C. For our chorus, A minor, let it be, G, let it be, F, let it be, and we end the same. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And that video, and we'll do one more with our little riff section. All right, our riff section sounds like this. Yeah, I'll see you at Marie. I'm just going to be recording these. We'll see you later, Monique. And thanks for joining, guys. All right, so our riff section sounds like this. We play 1, 0, 2, C chord, 1, 0 on the A string, then we play a G chord and an F chord and a C. So that's our first half, right? We start with melody, 1 on the E string, 0, 2 on the C string, C chord, 1, 0 on the A string, G chord, and then F, and then C. Now, the second rotation ends the same way, but it starts a little different. Instead of playing 1, 0 on the E string, we play 8, 7, 5 on the A string. Those are our first notes, octave higher. 8, 7, 5, C chord, 1, 0, G chord, F, and C, right? So that second half, 8, 7, 5, C chord, 1, 0, G chord, F, and C chord. Now, all of it together sounds like this. Melody. And second half, Monique, it was lovely to see you again in class. We'll see you next time, okay? Have a good
See
one.
you next time.
Yep, take care. Bye.